start with the discussion. We'll start with the discussion. The topic, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು related ಇತ್ತು. The topic was related to UCC. One more is related to Western Ghats. Remember, ಯಾವುದೇ ಎಸ್ಸೆದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇದೇ ತರ ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್. There is no hard and fast rule like if you write the same content, whatever is being given in synopsis or whatever we say. But one thing remember, in an essay, the way you interpret the topic, that matters a lot. Interpretation should be perfect. Interpretation should be perfect. And the way you write the introduction, body, conclusion, that matters a lot. So first I will tell you some observations, what you should do in the essays, where you will get more mark. Okay, then we'll start with the discussion. Remember friends, when it comes to essay, there are parameters which the evaluator will be noticing. Number one, introduction. Number two is body. Number three, the last one is conclusion. Remember, introduction, they will see what, whether you have addressed the premise of the topic or not. Premise of the topic. Okay, that means all the keywords should be linked in the introduction. This is number one. Second, we should convey it in a more interesting way. Second. Third is, you should give a reader what exactly is expected in the essay. Again, this is optional, which we call it as a thesis statement. So this is the part of introduction, and they will see all this. Then when it comes to body, the way you give the starting part of body, that can be a decider in essay. Like, we should not directly go on to this particular topic. First topic was related to UCC. Instead, I telling this is UCC advantages, I should first tell the reader UCC andre eno, what is this UCC, why we are debating this UCC, and some background about UCC. Then you move on to the topic. And remember, background ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ ನೆನಪಿಡಿ, core demand of the topic should be written in a more comprehensive way. This is just a background. ಇದನ್ನ ಸಂಕ್ಷಿಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. Around 1 to maximum 1.5 page, I would say. Dadmale, context of the topic. That is, in my topic, if you see here, the topic is saying uniform civil code and the ethos of live and let live. This is navigating a balance between uniformity as well as diversity in India. That means UCC can help in equality as well as it helps in maintaining the religious rights. Okay, adನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So in this essay, that is linking with how UCC acting as a balancing agent, or why we don't want UCC. Without this also we can go for balancing of the religious rights as well as protecting the dignity or the personal laws of every person or section within the community or religion. Ee tara ನೀವು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ, this is favor of the topic. Then you should also think for argument against. This is background, this is in favor, this is background, argument against. That is sometime, okay, instead of UCC we can think of some alternatives, right, without UCC. Then last is way forward, what we can do with or without UCC. That is what is observation in the in the essay. Then the last is conclusion. Remember, conclusion is always on a optimistic or positive. Otherwise you can take middle paths also. And for this essay, I prefer middle path. Okay, why I will tell you later. Okay, so with this basics, we'll go on to the topic. Remember friends, when it comes to the UCC, UCC ಅನ್ನೋದು first 360-degree view ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. UCC ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ personal law, and in India we have the personal laws which have been interpreted or it has been given based on the directions of religion or religious scripts. And only one religion, okay, what we have done is we have altered the religious laws. That is the Hindu. As the Hindu are majority in India, we have altered the laws related to Hindu at various levels. Here also, if you notice, 1955 start agittu, and recently in 2006 also we have seen. Okay, and recently there are many changes been done. Okay, either it might be by the help of law or it can be done by the help of court. When it comes to Hindu, you would have seen the first they started with what, the giving a model code for the Hindus. Then recently property rights. Recently they have done. That means the logic here is the society of Hindu wasn't ready in those times. Now they are, government is making them ready. That means they have taken many time to implement that. Adhe raiti UCC. See, when it comes to UCC, it is there in Article 44 of Constitution, and it is been imbibed in Article 44 just to ensure the government duty or moral obligation lies on the government to bring that in future, right? So bring that in future doesn't mean it should be brought in 21st century or right now only. So what we should do, as India is a progressive society, we have a constitution. We have Article 14, which clearly says equality before law, equal protection of law. Okay, when the any section of the people, whether it is religious community or any kind of the community it is, wherever the issues are happening, the onus lies on the constitution as well as the government to get all the things done in a right way. So right now issues ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, triple talaq. You take example of the maintenance related. You take example of marriage related, multiple marriages by some people, and even the temple entry related. Even in Christian also we have seen many issues, right? And remember friends, do not restrict your ideas only to Hindu and Muslim. You can show the ideas towards other religion also, and you should highlight what are the issues in those. Okay, idella madidre we will get the basic idea about this particular topic. ಈಗ introduction ಹೋಗೋಣ. The topic is related to UCC, ethos of live and let live. If you see, this is part A, this is part B of the topic, and he is saying navigating between uniformity as well as diversity. That means there are 4 keywords here. Actually, this is a difficult topic. Why? Because interpretation should be done at various levels. In short, remember this, in introduction, what you should do is, you should convey there are many problems in the society. I'm giving one idea of introduction. What you can convey is in initial 2 para, first and second para, you can convey why and how the problems are created in a society, either in Muslim or in Hindu. I'm taking 2 religion here. You can add others also. So how these issues are percolating into inequalities. Because of these issues, we are seeing inequalities. And in order to address this inequality, there is a debate related to rethinking about India's stance with respect to UCC, so that it will balance both religious as well as personal rights, as well as equality for all the people. So this is how the origin of the debate of UCC is happening. So itara introduction start madam. This is one way. Otherwise, you can even give some recent statistics also. Okay, you can take example of Supreme Court judgments. You can directly start with that. Recently, Supreme Court has given a verdict related to triple talaq. This was the issue. This has happened only because of these reasons. Adadmele, you can trace this is not just happening with one particular community. The other community is also facing the issue. Third para. Then you can write, however, by seeing these things, the Supreme Court as well as the constitutional guidelines clearly reflect we are a progressive society. Equality is required. Article 14 should not be violated at any cost. Okay, na? So in the name of Article 26, that is right to religion, one cannot undermine the right to equality. So now comes the debate about rethinking about personal laws, which can be overcome by the help of UCC. As per the Law Commission, they say there is a need for modification of personal laws with some minor arrangements or alternatives, which we will discuss in subsequent part. So I told you 2 ways of introduction. Whichever you feel convenient, do it. Mukhya bhaga. Whenever I go to the body of the essay, as I told, here you haven't defined any in introduction. Now, when I go to the the core demand of the essay, I will define what in the first 2 paragraph. I will talk about UCC, how it has been origined, what is the basic ethos, nuance of UCC. After that, I will start with the first part, that is why we need to focus on live and let live policy in India. Our India is the most progressive society as compared to other nations. India is focusing on secularism as well as protection of democracy. So in India, we have seen that the government did not mention anything in the preamble, right? Initial days. Okay, ali secular, democratic, andre ಒಂದಷ್ಟು terms they haven't used in spite of having that ethos of secularism in it. But now the what is happening, in order to bring that the wrong things, or to address the wrong things in the society, we should go for alteration of the personal laws. There you start about writing, this live and let live policy is applicable in these issues. What you will write after that is like, these are the issues, these are the solutions, like cause and effect relation ಆ ತರನು ಬರೀಬಹುದು ಎಸೆದಲ್ಲಿ, right? So that means one para you talk about Muslim, let's say example triple talaq. This is related to what? Marriage. Okay, these are the issues. You analyze how issues are having, are being caused, how it has been impacting the woman. However, in the next para you write how this has been revisited with respect to the idea of live and let live. Okay, ಅಲ್ಲಿ reiterate ಮಾಡಿ, even Supreme Court has intervened the idea of live and let live, and the Supreme Court did not directly go for UCC, but it said there has to be provision for live and let live, and there has to be some reform with respect to the personal laws. And from there we have seen that some ideas like triple talaq has been completely removed by the Supreme Court, which clearly shows judicial intervention are made for live and let live ideas. So ಈ ತರ ನೀವು ಬರಿತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. In the, at least you try to write at least 2 to 4 pages in this context. Okay, then you will go with the second idea for the topic. The second idea is, however, the everything and anything cannot be done by a court, or only the, not all the communities will do the reform within themselves. So for that reason, we should also focus on some model laws, okay, which can be something called as UCC, which can be acting as a balance between personal laws as well as the basic laws. So ಈ ತರ ನೀವು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. And remember, when you write this, you make sure you link the idea of unity as well as preserving the diversity. ಇದನ್ನ ಎರಡು ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So what you can do is, you first link about how it brings uniformity in initial pages. After that, you link how the diversity has to be maintained under UCC. And remember, when you address such questions, okay, remember, the first is uniformity. There are some good things about uniformity. We can say it as advantages. UCC ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ advantage ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು? First, if you bring UCC, okay, what will happen? All the section of the people will adhere for all the basic laws, right? This will lead to what? Article 14, okay, in reality, that is right to equality, can be brought into reality. And also the personal level, see, I am thinking about levels here. Personal level, the women, even the children. See, remember friends, the personal laws doesn't mean always affecting only women. This can also affect children, inheritance, right? Even it can affect other ideas also related to religion. And also recently you would have noticed this community also belongs to certain religion. They are being left out from this personal laws, even from legal laws. That means we can incorporate the new section of the people. We can give justice for those section of the people, so that we are going to balance not just the personal as well as the normal laws. That means this clearly shows we can become a progressive society if the UCC is being brought. However, we need to create some model laws of UCC before implementing it. That means we should also focus on diversity. ಈಗ diversity ಮೂವ್ ಆಗೋಣ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, UCC ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಓವರ್ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಂದ್ರೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಅ ಮಲ್ಟಿ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ, and government, already, the constitution has given fundamental rights to those sections, and only one section, that to majority of the community, the law has been altered, not completely fully. That means we have accommodated the diversity. Similarly, we should adhere for the fundamental rights also. But however, there has to be some dialogues. ಈ ತರ keywords use ಮಾಡಿ. There has to be a dialogues, debates, discussions, okay, so that the diversity is accommodated. The diversity, as in, what you can tell is, You can bring the religious community leaders. Okay, ಯಾವ ತರ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. You focus on bringing all the community leaders in one platform. Oversee what can be the feasibility. Okay, in bringing UCC first. If you are not able to bring UCC, what we can do is we should accommodate the diversity within that religion. That is second idea. One is to accommodate all the religion within one law. The second idea is to accommodate all the people within one religion. I hope there is a difference here, right? Ee tara yochane ಮಾಡಿ. That means the diversity is not just seen in the population as a whole. Within the religion also we have to see diversity. And again, in these diversities, some areas can be thought about, like religion, the the marriage related, divorce related, inheritance related. ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So this is how we can accommodate the diversity. I hope you are getting here. So ಈ ತರ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. Then something like new idea. ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ? In the context of the topic. This is where you can make the difference in the essay. That means revisiting UCC and alternatives for UCC. Right? So instead I bringing UCC directly, what I can do? I as a government of India can create some model law. Model draft law. Okay, which can be in line with e-NAM policy. e-NAM policy the lane madidvi. Government has said that this is a draft law. If state want to implement, you make the changes, implement ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. Similarly, ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡೆಲ್ UCC ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೋದಾ? ಅಗೇನ್ ಈ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ UCC ಅನ್ನ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಡೊಮೇನಿಗೆ ಬಿಡೋಣ, ಅವ್ರ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಲಾ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. Then we can think about whether to go or not to go for implementation. This is one idea. Right? Second idea. So what we can do is we can create a platform. In such a way that only one theme where the personal laws are largely affected. We can only create changes in that personal theme. Let us say, for instance, entire Muslim personal law na affect mado badli bari marriage effect ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Only marriage related personal laws we can think. Okay, that too based on the consensus. Right? So we can think in that sense, so that we can bring only marriage related issues can be sorted out in a more unified way for all the sections. This will help in two areas. Number one, it will create a single law for all the people. And also second, the law can be easily implemented if we do that. These are the things. Then some international best example, if you remember right, otherwise leave. Okay, it's left to you. So just I am giving some ideas. See, remember friends, writing this will add an weightage for your essay, and this will enhance the mark for you. Okay, so idella enaithu way forward. Then comes the last conclusion. Nenpirli, whatever we discussed here, UCC is a good idea, and we have seen some states like Goa which has successfully implemented it. But however, the UCC should not just create a platform for a debate discussion, but also it should internalize the changes within the religion. Then only we can see short-term, long-term solution for personal laws. Right? ಈ ತರ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಪಾತ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. So this is how I interpret this topic. I hope you got an idea. And remember, ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಕಿನ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. Right? That may happen. Right? But only thing is the structure of the essay should be good. Okay, I hope you got a big picture for this essay. Now, what is the second essay? Actually, second essay, reason for giving this essay is two reasons. Number one, ecology related questions may be asked in the examination. And second thing is, I expect one question this year because this was in news. Government of India is eyeing or focusing on implementation of eco-sensitive zones in Western Ghats. What are eco-sensitive zones? What are eco-sensitive zones? Eco-sensitive zones ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು?
The regions which are under threat and which needs
extra protection, or it acts as a buffer zone between the protected areas. right? ಈಗ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ರಂಗನ್ ಗದ್ಗಿಲ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ, ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು implement a new type of protection for Western Ghats. Why? Because Western Ghats are called as hottest of hotspots in the world. So, and these Western Ghats are spreading more than 60% in Karnataka. Right? Again, remember, before I go on to this topic, I'll give you some brief overview, okay, about Western Ghats. Remember, when it comes to Western Ghats, you know, ecological balance is very important, right? If I maintain ecological balance, it will help in better what, living environment, better ecological balance. And also, if I maintain balance, it can give better raw materials, even it can promote tourism, that is economic benefits are also there. The second is it has, developmental impacts, that is economic impact, I would say, right? That means Western Ghats are most important for even our rainfall. Western Ghats will influence the monsoons. That means it is most important not just from economic ecological point, but also the pattern of rainfall also. This is how it is. Okay. ಈಗ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದೇನು, there are some, many type of conservation efforts we are putting under Wildlife Protection Act. We have something called as Wildlife Protection Act, where we already created many national parks, ecosystem, the wildlife sanctuaries, etc. But what we are intended is, beyond wildlife, we should promote, protect the environment. So in that context, what we thought is eco-sensitive zones. And this eco-sensitive zone concept came after math. What is his name? Gadgil committee. Gadgil is a person who insisted more than 60%, to be precise, around 65 to 66%, he said the Western Ghats should be conserved, protected. And he did not say blindly protect ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, this has to be protected in 3 zones, 3 levels, he said. He said zone 1 as highly protected, zone 2 moderately protected, zone 3 least regulated, that is less protected. So ಇದು ಮಾಡೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಈಗ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸ್ 6 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಟಿಲ್ ಕೇರಳ ಅಂಡ್ ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡು. And what we are planning here is, we will create some buffer zones, okay, like this. If the ecological high importance is there, we'll create more eco-sensitive zones. That means this will be highly regulated. If it is less, it will be less regulated. That means this is zone 3. If it is leads less regulation. If it is highly required regulation, it will be under zone 1. That means Gadgil formula was more environmental friendly. But however, after some years, we see Kasturi Rangan committee, correct? And this was again because of political pressure, they have incorporated this commission. Avren helidru just around 33%. If I don't know anything, around 30%. Okay, around 30% he suggested. Again, he suggested both development as well as conservation. This clearly shows, okay, there is a dilemma which exists between both the commissions. ಇದು ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು, ಈಗ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ದಿಸ್ eco sensitive zones. So that was in news, so you can expect a question. And again, Karnataka government is opposing this. Why? Because 60% of Western Ghats are there in Karnataka, number one. Second, Karnataka's important developmental activities are also happening in Western Ghats, like power projects, hydel, thermal, hydel and nuclear, right? If I go with eco-sensitive zone, it can not just impact the developmental projects, but also community can oppose it. Why? Because implementation of eco-sensitive zones will make one more real layer of regulation that will again impact the local authorities. Why? Because they will lose their power. Getting? So again, that will create what? Skirmish, that is discontent between the local as well as state as well as national. That is why government of Karnataka is opposing it. I hope you are getting an idea. So ಈ context ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಈ particular essay. Okay, so now we'll go to the essay. What topic says conservation of Western Ghats, ecological significance, and Karnataka's dilemma. He is asking Karnataka's dilemma with respect to environmental regulation. Remember friends, this is a premise. Again, I will decode this in this way. Premise ಏನಿಲ್ಲಿ, Western Ghats significance, importance. Then ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಡಿಲೆಮಾ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಏನು, ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಕೋಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದ, ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಅನ್ನು ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ. This is a premise of the topic. That means if I want to put this in the words in the pages, like I am planning for 17 to 18 or sometime based on your interest, even you can write 20 pages in KS exam. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ 1500 ವರ್ಡ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. In introduction, I will explain, I will convey what the keywords of the topic. Right? You can start with some statistics if you remember. Otherwise, directly make it more interesting way. Remember, the Karnataka government has opposed the regulations or the guidelines given by Government of India related to Western Ghats. This was only because 60% of the Western Ghats were there in the Karnataka, and Karnataka do not want to promote eco-sensitive zones which can affect their developmental activities at various levels. We can mention some levels. So because of this, new debate has started, not just in Karnataka, across the India. Okay, that is, okay, why we need to conserve the Western Ghats? Okay, why exactly we are focusing on the Western Ghats and its conservation or its significance? Then even the people are discussing why Karnataka government is not regulating its own ecosystem. Is it having some internal issues or some other issues, which we will discuss in subsequent part of this. That means here I added thesis statement. Okay, andre ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. Again, remember, this thesis statement is the last para of introduction. Okay, this is my introduction. So after this, I will go to the body. And first I will decode how to fill the pages. First time I am telling you how to fill the pages. Again, this is important. So 2 page ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ initial 1 or 2 pages I will think about some either evolution of the committees or why we need to conserve Western Ghats. Right? This is like keywords related. So remember, first 2 para I will write about Western Ghats. Right? Then I will talk about, remember, ecological significance. He is only asking ecological significance. I will directly start with the reason for Western Ghats preservation is it has ecological significance. I will write at least these ideas. Remember, my premise of the topic is significance, ecological regulation as well as development. These are the premise. That means in the context of the topic, I have to write around 9 to 11 pages. In that, I will divide the ecological significance around 4 to 5 pages. 4 to 5 pages ecological significance. After that, next a few pages, I will link with what? Karnataka's dilemma. Why we are focusing on development as well as conservation. Adana baritari. That is around again 4 to 5 pages. Now, how many pages I have completed? 4 or 5 here. Around 4 or 5 here. That means around 10 pages I have written. This is in the context of the topic. Then I will think about some counter views for the topic. Counter view here as in government not just has to preserve and promote, but also think for alternatives. Like eco-sensitive zone and ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮತ್ತೆ change ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Like here, this is a counter argument. Counter argument ಯಾವ ತರ ಬರೀತಾರೆ? Complete oppose ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ. We should have some middle paths here. That is counter argument. ಇಲ್ಲಿ middle path ಏನು? Government of Karnataka as well as community as well as Government of India can have some second layer of discussion before implementing the eco-sensitive zones. And remember, for this essay, even this is one idea I told. Second idea is eco-sensitive zones ಅನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಬದಲಿ ನೀಡ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ನೆಸೆಸಿಟಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? Either it can be satellite imagery, otherwise usage of technology like artificial intelligence or some other technology. Correct? So ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? So ಈ ತರ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Usually you will write all these things in favor of the topic, but writing counter argument also required for this essay. So ಇದನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. I hope you are getting idea here. Then we will think for way forward. ಯೂಶಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? The way you write introduction, you will get more mark. The way you start the body, again you will get an idea, and that will be impressive. And the way you substantiate the ideas, points, that also matters a lot. Then comes this one. Here you get more marks. At least 30 to 40 marks will be increased in case here. The counter arguments or some new ideas, I would say. Okay. And for this essay, need not necessarily write negatives, that is counter arguments. Here I'm incorporating new ideas. I hope you got an idea for structure. Okay. ಈಗ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ? ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ. Then we can think about body. Body ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ what exactly Western Ghat is according to you? I mean ecological significance. ಇದೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದು? Ecological. What are the ecological significance of Western Ghats? One is biodiversity. Then endemic species are there. Then carbon sequestration. Then you should also tell climate regulation. Very good. Excellent. Local livelihood protection like tribals. And the government is focusing on coexistence of all, whether it is in the form of 73rd, 74th Amendment, or we also have something called as PESA, right? In the other areas. Here we have 73rd, 74th Amendment in Western Ghats area. We are not having a PESA in Karnataka. So what we can do is 73rd, 74th Amendment to development focus ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. In Karnataka, we have something called as PVTGs. There are two communities in Karnataka who are under PVTGs. ಯಾವುದು? ಜೈನು ಕುರುಬ, ಕೊಡವಾಜ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಜೈನು ಕುರುಬಾಸ್. One more community. Again, need not necessarily remember all, right? You can just mention there are PVTGs in Karnataka which needs special care and protection. Imposition of again link with this. Okay, because of this we can see that they are coexisting with the the environment, which is also having a balance. Okay, this is all signifies what ecological significance. With these ideas you can fill the at least 5 pages. So after this, now the dilemma exists with respect to recent events, that is implementation of eco-sensitive zones. And here you write the committees. Here there are two committees set up, Gadgil and Kasturi Rangan. Both have given these interpretations. Again, write it in a brief way. Number one interpretation was eco-friendly in nature. One is sustainability related nature, like promotion of both. But however, the dilemma for Karnataka is as follows. Again, write about dilemma. On one hand, we want to regulate the environment. That means related to pollution, related to what do you say? The people will go and take the forest products. ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ? ಜನರು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. Encroachment. With respect to forest fires which are happening in Bandipura, right? So these all are creating the first idea for Karnataka, the need for preservation as well as ensuring balance. Okay, but however, there exists a dilemma on other hand. Here you write about economic angle. Okay, I told you hydro project, nuclear projects, and also infrastructure projects, and also some areas. Okay, like in developmental activities there is a concept. We have Karnataka as consider madidre. Again, this is not a precise map. Let's assume this is Karnataka. Okay na, this is Karnataka. If you notice, only the coastal region, Mysore region, and some parts of Bengaluru region is only developed in Karnataka. Again, if you notice, the Western Ghats is here. Again, you are linking with topic here. Western Ghats is spread like this in Karnataka. That means only we are seeing development in and around Western Ghats, that too on the western side of Western Ghats, in the coastal area, and the initial parts of Mysore provinces, Mysore as well as Bengaluru region. This clearly shows we have a skewed developmental issues in Karnataka. Now, suppose if we promote the infrastructure projects, whether it is, we have started with Karwar Hyderabad linkage national highway project. Recently, it has been proposed. Otherwise, the rail link between Bengaluru and the coastal areas. We only have limited access with respect to connectivity. Suppose if we connect by the help of infrastructure project, don't you feel developmental activities will increase? Definitely yes. This is where government of Karnataka is facing a dilemma. Suppose if you implement one more layer, that is eco-sensitive zones, again extra regulations will be there which may hinder the progress. I hope you are getting idea. This is how the dilemma should be highlighted. And try to add Karnataka specific examples, and also you can link with India specific examples. Do not only confine your ideas only with Karnataka. Okay, so I hope you are aware of this recently Mumbai and Pune developmental activities corridors similar to our Chennai Tumukur corridor. They are planning again. That is also cutting but Western Ghats. So itara, and also the new areas like Karnatakadonದು tourism the theme ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಏನದು ಯಾವುದು ಥೀಮ್ ಹೆಸರೇನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದೊಂದು ಧ್ಯೇಯ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಇದೆ tourism related. Even I am not able to recall. If you remember, I am asking. Karnatakadonದು tagline ಇದೆ tourism. Why I am telling is, if we preserve and maintain, regulate the Western Ghats ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, we can promote tourism. For instance, in Karnataka, we have one state, many world. Karnataka has one state, many world, that theme. We are promoting that. You can add such examples. We have something in Karnataka that is Sakleshpura. Sakleshpura is called as a poor man's Ooty. I mean, you can write these things in answers. It is called as poor man's Ooty. If we preserve, promote Western Ghats, we can promote tourism. Instead, we can convert poor man's Ooty to the relaxed man Ooty in Karnataka. Athara tagline use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. That gives your essay more ಒಂಥರ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು? ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಾವೇನ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರುವಾಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಎನಿ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಕೋಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ the ideas, the policies should be promoted, and this can be only implemented if there is local participation. Without local participation, without local government, you cannot do anything. Correct? That means either it can create skirmish or differences between all the layers of the government, or it can be not long living, long sustainable agadilla. So idondu idea. Second, ನಾನು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಕೋ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಝೋನ್ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ 5 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಏಜ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್. We should see the real ground situations. Again, this decision should not be made by government of India. It should be given to local government. Idin bariri. Okay na? So this is how I will give a counter arguments. Right? Then comes the last, that is conclusion part. What can be your conclusion? Again, conclusion should be always ensuring ecological as well as developmental. ಎರಡು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. Karnataka's dilemmas can be overcome whenever there is a involvement of locals, whenever scientific evidences are being followed, and also government guidelines are being brought only after consultation of all the layers of government. This is how the policy should be. This will make the policy long living, long sustainable, and also we can conserve the Western Ghats in a more effective, more practical way. This is how essay should end. Hope you got an idea. So this is how you should write the essays. Right? ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡಿ, ಈ ಎಸ್ಸೆದಲ್ಲಿ the way you introduce matters a lot. The way you write the arguments, prove it, counter arguments, then the conclusion. Okay? So I hope you got an idea. Remaining things we'll discuss in next subsequent test. Okay? With these ideas, you please revisit the essays. See where you have done remarkably better than my ideas. Sometime it would happen. On the other hand, you would have lagged in some areas. Revisit them and also go through the synopsis. Okay, where you'll get some extra information. and I have made an effort to give at least 2 or 3 varieties of introduction for every essay. Okay, so I hope you had a good learning exercise. See you in the next test.